right, and your day has gone well. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I think we're on the Friday, aren't we, today? And the end of the week, and we got the weekend ahead. I hope everybody's got good Easter plans and up to something all right. I've just had a conversation with my mother, who I've just seen in the chat, who was inquiring as to what's going on at Easter, and I'm afraid the answer is more of the same: work, 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 work. I see some of you commenting on some of the footage that I put up from the airport over the course of the evening, where I've been going back and forward. So yeah, I've been a busy bee. Hi, Julie Baldwin, good to see you, and welcome everybody in the chat. We'll go through the hellos shortly. Hello, Alan Pape. Good to see you from Chester, and everybody saying hello to me, as Bridget as well. What I wanted to talk a little bit about today is I've got an article right here on my tablet which caught my attention, and it kind of segues off into how justice is served out in this country. And I find it really quite disturbing, particularly the proportionality of justice depending on what actually happens. I mean, if you go across the pond to the United States for a second, we've had the recent thing where you had that gentleman, if you could call him that, opening fire on a load of innocent civilians on the subway at Brooklyn. Within 30 hours, he's in custody, and he will be tried at the federal level and no doubt spend the rest of his life in prison. Result: justice. Let's hop back over here for a second, shall we, to the UK, and let's have a look at a couple of things. There's anarchy going on in the streets at the moment. I read earlier that I think 4 or 5 bridges in London have been effectively closed down today because people have formed human barriers across them. It's all these Extinction Rebellion numpties playing up again and bringing proceedings to a swift halt. Who the fuck do they think they are, is the first thing I have to say. And also, why is this being allowed to happen? Grab them, throw them out of the way, put them in a paddy wagon, stick them in jail. But no, we allow them to get on with it. I read left our judges. You're absolutely right there, John. That's one of the major problems. I read earlier we've got the problem with the fuel blockades at the moment, where these numpties are going in and sellotaping themselves to the roads and everything else, and stopping the fuel trucks getting back and forward. And I read also that a couple of them climbed up on a fuel truck and cut the brake lines. If the person didn't know, hi, Factual Breakdown, good to see you. If the person didn't know that had happened, could you imagine, an Arctic trying to brake with no brake? It could be disaster, and carrying a load of fuel as well. And I read also that one of these drivers actually lost their rag, got out of their cab, and physically removed this idiot from his truck. Will he be prosecuted, or will the driver be for grievous bodily harm, I wonder? It's a sad state of affairs. And the other one as well, I brought you the story the other day about where the lady that nudged the Insulate Britain numpty out of the way with her car, she's been prosecuted. Meanwhile, other things that happen around the place seem to go not prosecuted, or taken very softly, a softly approach, when they should be otherwise. Sometimes I think as well the little things need dealing with before they lead to the big things, because if you get away with the little things, you become emboldened then by the thought of getting away with the big things. But what I really wanted to talk about was an article right here about a guy that's in a particular situation, and it's actually a subject that's close to my heart right now. Now, I'll show you this picture and see if you remember it. I did a video about this at the time. You see that? A bloke being bundled by the old Bill on the floor right there. And there's a story behind that. You see the guy actually on the floor is suffering from a terminal illness. He's going to die, and, at some point, He had a bucket list. Please curb your language in the chat. We do not allow swearing in here. Andy would like to keep his channel. I swear, doesn't mean you can. Just kind of replace certain letters and stuff and try and do it. Yeah, there's a guy that's got a terminal illness, okay, and he's dying, and he had a bucket list of things that he wanted to do before he died, which is fair enough. I hear this a lot with people in that position, and as I said, it's a subject quite close to my heart right now for reasons I won't go into. But this particular gentleman, he decided one of the things he wanted to do was stand in front of a speed camera, drop his trousers, moony it, and run off. And that's exactly what he did. Well, the opportunity arose when he was in a supermarket car park with his wife, and he saw it. I thought, right, there's another one off the list. So he went up and he dropped his keks, mooned this speed camera, and off he went. The next thing you know, he's got the old Bill on the doorstep, mob-handed. They forced him to the floor, roughed him up and everything else, and it really shouldn't have happened. All right, yes, indecent exposure, he broke the law and all the rest of it, granted, but proportionally, should he have been prosecuted? We had this discussion at the time when this occurred. Now, I saw this in the press today, and I'll read it out to you. What's going on in the chat? I just saw something. Sorry, all have to go. Something came up. See you soon. All right, Factual. Let me know you're okay, my friend. You've been a little bit absent lately. I get the impression there's behind the scenes stuff, but let me know. Yeah, I come across this in the chat earlier, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Dying man who mooned at speed camera for bucket list is in trouble again. And when I saw that, I thought, has he done something else? And the police are having another go at him. But listen to this. A terminally ill lecturer has been charged for using threatening behaviour when he was being arrested for mooning at a speed camera. He wasn't arrested for mooning at a speed camera at the time. He was arrested in his home after the fact. And I saw the video footage of this. He wasn't displaying threatening behaviour at all. He was like, what the hell have I done? I'm a terminally ill man. Why are 6 of you on top of me? Let go. It's, unbelievable. Daryl Mecom, 55, has a bucket list of things he wants to do before he dies from multiple system atrophy. Google it. It's serious. Among them was to moon at a speed camera. Got him arrested at his home in Kidderminster, Worcestershire, in November. And that's about the time I covered it. He was later bailed and then interviewed under caution in January. Massive overreaction, as we discussed at the time. He has now been charged over his reaction to being arrested and will appear before magistrates in May. What the actual fuck? There was no behaviour, displayed that I could see which could warrant the kind of reaction that he received from the police. It's like, what are you doing here? I'm next thing you know, the old Bill are all over him, treating him like some kind of bloke that's tried to blow something up. Daryl claims the charges are trumped up and that police are looking for any little thing to get him on. He said this is an escalation of what they've done. You can't keep changing it and altering it until you find something that fits. What are they going to come up with next? They are literally looking for any little thing to get me on. So I think what they've realised is they've cocked it up big style and they're trying to save face and charge him with something. I think this is a disgusting state of affairs, to be quite honest. I pulled my trousers down and mooned at a speed camera. Okay, I'm not saying it's right, but you know, if he was unable, you know, what if I went and mooned at a speed camera? I've been tempted to do that at speed cameras and other things to speed cameras over the years. I would have both books thrown at me and I would be in a whole heap of trouble. But this guy, it's a different circumstance. Uh, Pulled my trousers down and mooned at a speed camera. That's all I did. They are essentially admitting that there was no offence committed in the first place. There's nothing on this charge sheet saying I committed any initial offence whatsoever. Why were they kicking the living daylights out of me in the back garden if there's no offence committed? That's what they're trying to pin his reaction. They're saying, oh, you reacted, so we reacted. You know, we kicked the crap out of you. That's unacceptable, because he was basically saying, why are you here? What have I done? It's absolutely nuts. The police escalated it. I'm furious about it. I never thought it would get to this point. It's a case of bullying, and they're trying to get anything they can possibly get to get me. I dread to think how much taxpayers' money it's costing them to do this. I would love to know what other things are on this guy's bucket list, to be honest. My health will not and has not got better since all this started. The stress of all this has made my health worse. It's unbelievable. Daryl, who lives with his wife Sarah and their two daughters, previously told how he was left stunned when cops turned up outside their home. I remember the pictures at the time. You had some old Bill looking through the windows. Open the door, sir. We want to come and bundle you. It's nuts. I wonder if they had a warrant even when they just turned up. It's mad. He dropped his trousers at a mobile speed camera van on Stourbridge Road in Kidderminster while his wife went to buy some bread from a nearby Tesco's. Said that earlier. Mobile phone footage filmed by Sarah, a nurse, shows Daryl calmly telling officers, calmly being the word here, I'm terminally ill. I won't be able to breathe like this. This is after they bundled him. This is ridiculous. I mooned a speed camera. Wheelchair user Daryl, who also has Parkinson's disease and heart and kidney problems, added, I was simply gobsmacked. It's honestly all just baffling. I feel like I've been abused. It was outrageous bullying. They could have killed me easily. I got out of the car, flashed my bum, pulled my trousers up and got back in. I didn't think anything of it. It was a laugh. I came home and within 20 minutes there was a police van outside. I was too scared to go out. It was quite frightening. I should imagine to anybody at the best of times, that's quite intimidating, isn't it? That sight coming up. A police spokesperson said, as legal proceedings are now active, West Mercia Police, there you go, West Mercia Police, could not make any further comment at this time. So they're hiding behind sub judice. Really? They're not going to comment? They're just going to want to... they're just going to want to throw the book at him to make an example of him because they realise they fucked it right up. So, you know, what do you make of that, folks? Meanwhile, we've got stuff going on in the streets all the time where, you know, people are getting away with stuff they shouldn't get away with. I was disgusted when I read that. As I said, it's a fine line because I suppose technically he's breaking the law. It's indecent exposure. You get your ass out in public, you know, maybe you're in trouble. But this guy was simply trying to make the best out of the last bit of his life, and he should be left to it. And somebody mentioned George Floyd in the chat, and he's a hero and all the rest of it, and we know the truth behind that one. It's totally and utterly skewed, isn't it? I just hope they leave him alone, or I hope a judge can see it for what it is and say, for fuck's sake, leave him, done, get out of my court, don't come back. In fact, the idiot that put him in there, charge him with contempt. That's what I think. Anyway, folks, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Cabbie. Good to see you all. And we got a nice number in pretty much immediately, which is nice to see. If you haven't done so already, yeah, I don't know how I'd pull that off, Harry Harlow. Could be something. If you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up on the chat. We're trying to do things slightly differently from now on, spending the first 10 minutes, quarter of an hour talking about something, you know, a topical subject or something like that, and go into our normal natter. And as you can see, the complete disparage of justice there is very telling. And judges, they do have a modicum of common sense, even though they're bound by the law and their understanding of it. And you see sometimes in the press where judges make the most insane decisions, and hopefully things can be appealed. But the problem is, in Daryl's case, I get the impression he's a university lecturer, so he's obviously a very clever man. But if he's disabled and unable to work, I guess that maybe his wife may be working, or she may have some kind of part-time income. She's probably having to care for him, which probably means there's an element of carer's allowance, disability living allowance. In short, not enough to live on, not enough to hire proper defence if anything goes to court. So then are you going on, well, they don't really do legal aid now, do they? That's all been thrown under the bus. And you get the impression he's an easy target, but they need to leave him alone. Also with the channel, folks, if you haven't done so already and you're new to us, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell as well. I appreciate that and all your support, especially with these daily chats. I tell you, I had a long night last night. I was going to go out with my boy, as I told you in the rant last night, and I ended up at Heathrow late, and you saw the little bit of footage I put there from Terminal 5, and I got home 2:30 this morning. I had to turn round after about 4 hours sleep and go back and pick someone else up, and thanks to P&O, accidents on the M2, the M20 and everything else, it took 4 hours to do a 2-hour journey. I was not a happy chappy, and then there's more stress with work when I got back. If you come anywhere near the Margate area, you probably saw the steam coming out the ears, which is something. Well, everybody, I'm going to go to the chat now and say some hellos and see who we've got here. Right, Zena. Hi, Andy. They don't do legal aid for UK residents, human rights breached, but they do for immigrants. How do we get... Oh, yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it? It's really disgusting. Chrissy Williams, good to see you. Yes, I've noticed that Slurpy Dave is in the chat. Well, what do you know? Your absence has been noted, Slurpy Dave. You've been gone for quite some time. Rather a big absence with all the jokes that we've missed. Hello, Uncle Gary. Hello, Helium Vibrations. Good to see you. Andy's in the house. Obviously didn't have any middle-aged ladies drinking coffee to arrest. Yeah. Well, you had that during the old lockdown, didn't you? Where they were walking through the park and they got fined for drinking a cup of coffee. I mean, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? We had this business owner that was fined £54,000 for trying to keep his business open during lockdown, and Boris and his cronies get 50 quid. What part of that do I understand? Sue them. Get the whole thing turned over. Adrian Craven, Andy, what was up with the roads yesterday? I spent hours on the M25 yesterday, seemed very busy. All home back up the M1 took me 18.5 hours to do an 800-mile round trip. Jesus Christ, Adrian. The main problem yesterday was the Dartford crossing. There was a series of accidents kind of around there, and it caused absolute chaos. I mean, it's what caused my problems last night as well. I had a job to do. I had a job to do last night, which originally someone else was going to do, and they never made it. So I had to step in, and it was bad. This morning was quite bad as well. All of this area is literally a no-go zone at the moment. Slurpy Dave, I was okay when Andy went live 2 to 3. Yeah, I went later because I want to try and capture more audience, Slurpy Dave. You know, Americans and all that with different time zones. Try and expand our influence a little bit and see how we do. GB News had someone from Rwanda tonight talking about the illegals. They said they are happy to take them. They've been doing it for years. Yeah, so it's nothing new, is it? I mean, also the way I looked at that big announcement of Boris, where he was saying about what was going to happen, and also have a look what Nigel Farage put on his feed about putting it into perspective. Boris spoke yesterday. Look what happened today. Yeah. Uh, it's madness. I mean, I get the impression that they've just taken an idea that's worked somewhere else and said they're going to copy it. And the long and short of it, they won't copy it. I mean, from what I understand, there's been record numbers over the last 24 hours because people are trying to get in before all this happens and they get shunted elsewhere. I like the timing of this live. Love from the US. Thank you, Late Lizard. I appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to do. Go on early evening. Well, it's probably mid-evening, really, isn't it? And accommodate for people here, and also try and pick up other people who are what's the time in the States right now? 6, 7, 8. It's probably about 4 or 5, 6, 7. Probably about 3, 4 in the afternoon there, isn't it? I couldn't count there for a second. Says 78. Everyone has a thing called choice in the UK, so you can give up this anti-VAT mandate you're trying to push. Kim Alliston, Dig Allen, Late Lizard, 3 p.m. Yeah, I knew it was somewhere around that. Depends where you are, isn't it? Shut that door. Well, very nearly. 4 p.m. on the East Coast. Julie Baldwin, 12 more likes needed to reach 100. Please smash the like button and help Andy's algorithm. Yeah, that's another t-shirt idea, isn't it? Andy's algorithm. We could have some of that. Let's go back. Yeah, Rwanda, 25 degrees and sunny. Let's go. It's got to be better than that here, isn't it? Those screams were faked. Hi, Alan Pape. We have now discovered that we are covered by our house insurance regarding our underground water pipes, and also they dig holes in the gardens, kitchen floor or driveway not to be dug up. Come on, Boris. Follow through on what you say for once. Yeah, well, that'll be a change, wouldn't it? Slurpy Dave, anyway, a new bar is opening tomorrow. You can drink as much as you want for less than 20 quid. So I'm going to party like it's 1919. Oh, Christ, he's off already. Where have you been, Slurpy? Almost 500,000 COVID-19 vaccine appointments are available over the Easter weekend. Will the NHS be informing their guinea pigs? I doubt it. Something about Rwanda. Okay, there's lots there. Yeah. I mean, it's rearing its head again, isn't it? This whole thing. I mean, I was at Terminal 3 this morning, and I noticed there were far more people than there have been over the last few days. I mean, some of the aircraft that were coming in were bound from the States, and there are certain places over there. I know you've got Democratic states and Republican states, and they're different levels of strictness depending on where you're from. Hi Andy, hope you got your situation. Mike Alligators, I hope you mean under control, but yes, I have. Everything's okay. Yes, sorted last night. I did in the end. The problem is, when I discovered what the situation was, it was too late to get anyone else to step in. And this is the thing you see with the whole business. Even if I send someone else, it's still my name and my reputation on the tin every single time. So I've got to, step in there and do it myself. And it's can be quite difficult sometimes. And there's been some changes behind the scenes, and it's making it a little bit interesting, to say the least, I must say. I'm pretty tired tonight, but as always, I wanted to get out here and see you fine people and see what you're up to. These evening lives have not been suiting me. Sorry, Andy. It's fair enough, Slurpy. They don't suit everybody. That's the thing. I wish there was a record function, but I suppose you can watch the replays. I saw the stream here on the Wirral. That's Jane Griffiths. Uh, Terrible in Sligo. Apparently there was a big pile up on the M11 today. Two dogs shit the same spot. But apparently, I think there was a problem on the M1 or something as well. It's just been madness over this weekend. Absolute madness for everybody on the roads. I just pushing out like 25 million people, no food. Yeah, it's mad there, isn't it? With that lockdown, absolute mad. Don't you know it's mental illness, not a certain ideology? Obviously, didn't have any middle-aged ladies drinking coffee. Yeah, it's back to that again. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It really is. Let's have a look down. Well, thank you, everybody. We've got to 100 likes pretty quickly, so I appreciate that. Now, always helps the algorithm out. It really does. Hello, Rafi. I'm good. I've seen your messages. And the problem is with the airport work, I haven't had a chance yet to sit down and respond to anything, but stop bombarding me, my friend. I will get to you. Don't you worry about that. Try calling in a few favours or offering a few bribes. Oh, I've had to a few times. Don't you worry. 100, yeah, we got there. David L. Andy, mate, any idea what a rabbit has got to do with Easter? I have no idea whatsoever. Way to go, you did it. 100 likes. We're here. Yeah, why is it the Easter bunny? Why isn't it the Easter sheep or the Easter cow or the Easter cat or something? You have to wonder about that one. But my eldest son has just come home from the snooker club. I think he's out on the piss tonight, so a quick change of clothes and out he goes. There we go. Where are we? Somebody speaking some foreign lingo there. I don't understand. Hi, Lorna. Great to see you. We're a bit more relieved now. We are covered by a home. We've had that, haven't we? I'm a bit behind the times. Easter is pagan fertility adopted by the Catholic Church. So who's paying for all these flights to Rwanda then? Well, 10 guesses. 10 guesses. Yes, Jack, my little person in the chat, you're there. That's Lewis. He's about to knock on the front door any second now. And he's got Sammy with him too, so you'll be happy. And I wondered when you were going to sneak in there. An Easter Jack Russell. Excellent. I saw old Sleepy Joe try and shake hands with the Invisible Man. I read a report about that earlier saying that Sleepy Joe was seen shaking hands with thin air. Now, I just thought it was another level of insanity like he normally comes out with. General meaning of Easter is regeneration, animals being born, flowers sprouting. Okay, to me it's just Easter eggs. Ha ha ha, rabbits don't lay eggs. This is very true. Bunnies are cute. Yeah, we're getting all the theories about the Easter now, aren't we here? So who's... Yeah, this whole thing about this Rwanda business. They get on a dinghy over France. They come over here to Dover. As we know, they're aptly escorted by the RNLI and everybody else. And then they get shipped off to Rwanda, probably in first-class comfort over. Board and lodgings over there, we seem to be doing here. And it's all 100% bullshit, as per usual. What planet do they think we're on? And it's millions of pounds of the taxpayers' money again. And, you know, when is it going to stop? You have to stop it at source. You have to stop the people traffickers doing their thing. It's never... It's been going on for years and years and years, hasn't it? But I think that it's been put more in the public light now than it ever has been before. And, you know, they're really making a football out of it, definitely. But the pictures that you see of Dover and the surrounds and all the women and children that are coming over, I say that with my tongue in my cheek, it's loads of them every day. Anyway, folks, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Welcome. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on the chat there. That'll be cool. And we've got a nice little number of folks in the chat now. and it's wonderful. If you haven't done so already as well, please consider subscribing, and we appreciate the support. We need to get those numbers up and running again. As I said, I was at Heathrow and everything a fair bit over the last day or two. You can see a little bit of footage on the channel of what I've been up to. I'm trying to get back to what we were doing, news and reviews and all that sort of thing, but I'm getting there slowly. The problem is, if I don't do 5 or 6 videos a day, you see, I get an email or a message from my person Rafi in the background telling me off. But there you go. Did you hear the read about the targeting and killing of 2 men who were gay and 1 other injured? I read something. I'm not sure which story you're referring to, Helium Vibrations, but I read something, but it was a little while ago. I don't know whether you're referring to the same story I might be thinking of. Hello, Neats. Good to see you in the chat. Easter Bunny, also called the Easter Rabbit or Easter Hare, is a folkloric figure and symbol of Easter. Rwanda, let's have a national vote on it. When the country says yes, they'll shut up the mainstream media having a go at the government. Well, somebody came on, didn't they? Somebody mentioned earlier in the chat and said it's been going on for years. It's nothing new. So they just trying to make a thing out of something that's been going on for a long time, I wonder. And it's all sleight of hand and distraction and everything else, isn't it? But nuts. All right, let's go back to the chat and see what everybody else has got to say. Rwanda is supposedly seems a stable African state, considering what happened there a few years back. I've just seen more horrendous pics from South Africa, which is finished. Yeah, there's parts of it where it's gone mad. You know, I mentioned Cape Town, Air Zulu, and hi, by the way, in a chat the other day, and how I'd like to go back there one day. But some of the things I read, I'm not too sure anymore that that's something I'd want to go and do. Julie Logan, a hi to you. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Sligo beheaded and Castro. Jesus Christ. John Harrington, the French police must know who the smugglers are and where they are on the coast they set sail from. Well, I think I covered this a while ago. There was a picture of a supposed French patrol on the beach, right? And they were going down looking for dinghy divers trying to get over. And apparently 2 sets of them with these fucking great rafts, and I mean military grade, no, here's the thing, massive rafts over the heads. You know, it's like something out the Great Escape, straight in the channel, straight across, unchallenged. This is the thing, unchallenged. And what did we give them? 50 million quid or something daft like that to try and put a stop to it? It's an absolute scandal. But, you know, mind you, we have trouble getting to France these days. You should see the M20. But anybody that lives local to the M20 or around that area, apparently they've made some changes to try and change things, make it easier. But after my 4-hour trek home today, I'm not so sure that worked too well. If they sack Boris, who will take over? God help us if Starmer is Prime Minister. Yeah, I saw a news article earlier, 80s Geek, where it actually said that you know, Boris is in for quite a shock when it comes to local council elections, and we might end up with Prime Minister Starmer. I tell you, if any of that lefty lot get anywhere near it, this country's even more fucked than it is already. I tell you. Sharon Shooter, hi Andy, sorry I'm late. You're okay, you're here, that's the main thing. Neats, this is in County Sligo, Ireland. The murders happened. Great time for you two here in awful troubles, all that, wasn't it? Andy and friends, I think the Easter rabbit comes from America, stolen from a Scottish tradition of rolling an egg down a hill and the rabbit steals the egg. Might be right, may be wrong. I've never heard of that one. I never have. We'll have to try and determine the origin of the Easter Bunny for next time, and go from there. The first slaves shipped to the American colonies in 1619 were 100. When children from Ireland, truth matters. Okay. James, put your name. Spiderlog has just become a member of the channel. Andy the Cabby level 1. Thank you very much, Spiderlog. I appreciate your support. Yeah, there are channel memberships there if you do wish to support the channel in that way. The bottom level, which Spiderlog has just signed up to, Cabby level 1, is literally £1 a month. No contract, no obligation, just goes in the Coke tin, literally. Cheers. Lisa Farr, nice one, Slurpee. I'm missing all Slurpee's jokes, I have to admit. I reckon he's told a few. Jane Griffiths put at name. Is Jane trying to point out to somebody? Yeah, I think you have to put the at symbol and the name, and it stands out in orange, and the person will actually see it. I get that on my screen quite a bit. Butcher sacked for being too old wins 120 grand in age discrimination case. How old is old? I mean, I had a conversation with an ex-butcher the other day where he worked with somebody who just couldn't do the job anymore. He was getting on a bit, and getting a bit doddery and making mistakes and things like that. But this was back in a time where you didn't have all the offence and discrimination laws and everything you have now. Is look, you've got to stop now. You really have. And some people just get to a point and they won't. Yes, Andy the Cabby. At Andy the Cabby when you really need Andy to read something. That's it. And it stands out in orange. Thank you for demonstrating that, Blood Nose. Yes, truth does matter. Keep putting truths. I was determined to put mine in bits when was censored. Sorry, Tony, to have bombarded you then. Teacher punched, £850,000 compensation. So, yeah, I read that earlier. A teacher was punched by a child in a class, and they get £850,000 compensation. What happened to the child? Were they charged with assault? Were the parents taken aside and said, look, the amount of times I've been in the school over the years for various issues, a lot of kids have this on them, the old trap. But, punching a teacher, that's another level, isn't it? And where's that respect for your elders gone? It's crazy, but that's quite a landmark thing, 850,000 quid. And I wonder if that will open the floodgates. I wonder if that will set a precedent for more of it. We'll have to see. Is that Sashabu72? Hey, Andy. Sorry if I've mispronounced your screen name. It's a little bit difficult to see, but hello. Legend has it, every year on Easter, a long-eared cottontail creature hops from house to house to deliver festive baskets full of treats, toys, and delicious candy to children. I wonder who that is. The French border force didn't give a toss about these people, so long as they get them onto dinghies and into the English Channel and away, then it's not their problem. And on that note, shut that door. There we go. From what we've been told on laptop PC, if you type a name, it auto tags, but if you're using a mobile device with an app, it puts an at symbol before name. Yeah, when you do it on a PC and you put at, you get a big list of everybody in the chat. You put at and the first letter of the screen name you want to talk to, and it comes up like that. Who have we got here? Please help me, sir. Go on, there's cooking and okay. That's a call for help there. My dad has set himself an email on my phone. Think that's hilarious. It's healing vibrations. Blimey, why is he on your phone? Tell him to get his own phone. Jay Goose, my teacher bruised my knuckles. I want compo. How did they do that? I mean, back in the day, you had board rubbers and canes and slippers, and I was threatened with a cane once in about 1980 something. I would have never have got it because the cane had been abolished by that point. But the threat was enough. But we had respect for our elders back in those days. Uh, I should be a billionaire amount of times I was caned. It will, Andy gives an open gate. Yeah, definitely. Alan Edge, that's too much. Andy the Gabby Cabby, so how much are teachers going to get charged for abuses to children, i.e. coercing children to have experimental... Yeah, I hate all that, Zena. I really do. I'm keeping a close eye on that because I just don't, the whole thing over there. I don't agree with it at all. Why are perfectly healthy children? Why are we having that conversation in the first place? It really is mind-boggling, and I won't allow it, particularly not with mine. Still talking about tags. I think everybody's talking about tags. Cosmic Water, get yourself on Penny Bunny's live stream and tell her that you like bunnies. Recently found that similar to the NORAD and Google Santa trackers at Christmas, there's a similar one for tracking the Easter Bunny. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? I want to be a teacher now and have Will Smith in my class. Love it, Alan Edge. Will Smith, he's been cancelled with everything. I read a thing the other day. There's a big long list starting with banned from the Oscars for 10 years, and a load of his projects have been cancelled. It's a bit of a mess, really. I mean, I'm still not entirely convinced of the legitimacy of the whole thing, but the aftermath is quite something. Andy, have you got a busy week of airport runs? I have, Air Zulu. On Monday, I have 9 of the damn things going back and forward. I'm really worried about that day, and I hope everything goes correctly. It's one of those days when nothing can go wrong. The computer would know who you're trying to tag. Pardon me, what? Get it. Right, okay. Thank you, Julie. I was thinking of doing the same. It might be a case of going a little bit further than that. Yes, absolutely, Neats. Julie, if you could do the necessary. I let it go a couple of times, but I think need putting in troll corner. In other words, kick them out the door. Who be a teacher now? There's kids with smartphones antagonising them just to film their reactions. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Andy, but how old are your children at school? Have you served them papers to state do not offer your children and do not, because those teachers might, they are evil. Well, my eldest son, he's 18, knows my feelings on it. And that's that. My youngest, I've told him the telltale signs to look out for, and I've said, if that happens, kick, scream, do whatever you have to get a parent down there, because it ain't happening. We used to get the board rubber. Yeah, used to be dark. I mean, we had a teacher that used to go absolutely mad. He had no control over a class whatsoever, and I won't say his name because it's not fair, but it's many years ago, and he always used to shout and yell, and he used to get practical jokes put on him. I mean, one time somebody nudged a desk in front of the door so he couldn't open it and get in the classroom. And then another time somebody put the rubbish bin on top of the door and he come flying in and got bloody rubbish all over his head. They really treated him pretty poorly. Spot on, leave the kids alone. John Harrington, when I was at school in the 60s, our maths teacher used to throw a blackboard rubber at you. Yeah. I mean, back in my dad's day, he's told me some stories about what a pain in the arse him and his friends were, and the practical jokes they used to play. And let's just say they used to go into school with an extra pair of shorts because they know what they were going to get at some point. I mean, my old man was pretty good at cross country. That's probably the only reason he didn't get expelled. Thousands of cameras at the Oscars, and only one working for the Will Smith act. Yeah, Tony Whitworth. As I said, the whole legitimacy of that, I still remain unconvinced. Knowing, from the stage experience I had, all right, 20 years ago, I know how to perform that to make it look good for an audience, and it just looked. I mean, you slow that footage down as well, and you'll see the telltale signs. Cash is king, Andy. Do you encourage people to use cash, mate? If not, mate, we will have evil digital currency. Not good. Yeah, I've been a cab driver for a decade, and way back when, cash, 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 all the time. And I have that, an iZettle card reader. Business customers always want to pay with cash, card all the time. I actually had one last night that paid with cash, and I was amazed. Yeah, I've got to send him a receipt, by the way, well reminded. But I try and encourage everybody to still pay with cash. I just say, cash is king. If we go down the route of card payments for everything, then eventually nothing is going to be unaccountable, is it? We're going to have to declare everything. We're going to have to show everything. And they will have a level of state control over our lives, which we don't necessarily want them to have, do we? It's not good. We used to get thumbtacks under the seat of the art teacher's leather stool, which was worn. My maths teacher I told you about, worst thing that I ever saw happen to him, he went out the room to deal with something, and while he was gone, somebody smeared super glue all over his chair. And he came in, he sat down, and yeah, it got interesting, I tell you. Yeah, no tips, Andy. That's the thing, David. A lot of the time they make the exact payment on the card, and that might be another way of doing it. I mean, when you go to somewhere like the States, gratuity is a given, isn't it? You hold your hand out, give me my $10 or my 10%. I want my tip, or you're an asshole for not giving. They'll probably get fired for that, but there you go. What do you think of Harry and Co seeing the Queen? I think there's more to that than meets the eye, Mum. I think they had an ulterior motive for doing that. And I do wonder whether it was appeasing somebody for, I can't really say too much because I don't want to get in trouble, but I didn't take that as face value at all. I think the Ginger Whinger was getting led by the hand as usual, and that's the way it was. Andy, plastic bags are not allowed in Rwanda. Yeah, they let pretty in. Yes, I love it. Very good. Chrissy Williams saying hello to my mum. I always pay a cabbie with cash. Late Lizard says you're my favourite kind of customer. Then you can get in my cab anytime. Bob Davey, check out Hugo latest on that Ukrainian puppet. Yeah, one thing I've noticed about Ukraine, and I'll mention it because we haven't spoken about it today. I saw a comment this morning that somebody put about Ukraine, Kiev particularly, getting attacked overnight, and there was no note of it anywhere in the news. No, I saw an article this morning that mentioned it very briefly, and now nothing. And I haven't seen Zelensky in the news all day. I haven't really seen anything about Kiev all day. It's suddenly been smeared over by Boris and Partygate and council elections and the convids, and I'm thinking something's happened here. Something kind of dramatic has happened here. And I guess that, if we don't see him by tomorrow, as the unthinkable happened, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Julie, I think we're experiencing a small issue again. Can you do it, or I will? In fact, let's see if I can do it. No, I can't do it. It's not letting me. No, okay. No, all I'm doing is just zooming in and out all the time. They went for a ship missile making plant, the sound of Perkins. Yeah, I mean, apparently the Ukrainians have been sending things over the border, haven't they? Uh, Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. You spotted what I was saying and sunk the Russian ship. And I think Putin has said that stop attacking us, otherwise we're going to do something back. That's what I'm wondering about. You got to use your boot, Andy. Laugh out loud. Exactly. Uh, The attack was reported on the news today. Yeah, it was this morning. I did see something, but it didn't really. There wasn't really a lot of it. Uh, it's all smoke mirrors and distractions. Partygate Ukraine, NHS, Boris, their wives, covering for something we're not getting told about. I agree with you, Spiderlog. I totally agree with you. You know, we're distracting and worrying about something else. I mentioned yesterday about that episode of Police Off the Cuff they did with the photographer that spent some time over there. Very, very interesting man, and I suggest you listen to him. Uh, it, Very eye-opening, and it gives you another viewpoint on the whole thing over there. And one of the things he says is that they're playing on people's emotions very much, putting events in front of them that tug on the old heartstrings an awful lot. I have to wonder whether there might be something in that. You never know. Listen, everybody, this has been a good chat tonight. We're not quite finished yet. I'm going to see if I can make the full hour. We've only got about 8 minutes left. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on the chat, and let's try and get the numbers and the likes up to something cool. We're doing well tonight. I appreciate all your support, and a big shout out to all the channel members that are in here. You can do that. It's only £1 a month for bottom level. Keep me in coke. And I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about that one. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel as well. Andy the Gabby Cabby. That will really help us. We're dropping a little bit, and I think that's where I've not put so much content on lately. But we need to do something about that. And if you have a look in the description field underneath the videos and these live streams, there are other ways you can support Andy the Gabby Cabby as well. And I appreciate all the support from all quarters wherever you are. So that's wonderful. And let's go back to it and go on for a little bit longer, and then we'll look at wrapping things up. We know exactly what they want us to know, nothing more. Late Lizard, that means we have to go looking elsewhere. It was tonight as well. They showed camera footage of it. Okay, I'll have another look when I get indoors. It just appeared to me there wasn't a big song and dance about it. Andy, I think you should mix it up a bit next time. How about a Pepsi Max? Ah, right. I've done it. Pepsi Max. I've been a traitor to the Coke habit. Somebody gave me that earlier after that nightmare journey I had back home. Thanks, Healing Vibrations. Appreciate the compliment. And I won't tell my wife. Watch that program on Ukraine. It was really good. Tells the brilliant truth. And yeah, we need to be careful not to escalate to full war. Okay. Night, Neats. Cheers for coming by. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're nearly at 150 likes, everybody. That's a good target. While on a week away with school in 1985, the teacher slammed a sash window down on my back because I effed and jeffed. He then punched me in the stomach. Now that's too much, Kevin. Way too much, even for 1985. I mean, you can imagine the reaction if that happened to a child now. There'd be absolute pandemonium, wouldn't there? But nah, that's not right. Uh, Pepsi Max is far superior to Coca-Cola. Fight me. I used to drink Pepsi all the time, funnily enough. And then I kind of went back to Diet Coke again. But I do like Pepsi, I must admit. Evening, Jean. That could be the reason for Meghan and Harry making a secret visit to the Queen. So I thought things were bad. This visit would never have been on the cards. Yeah, you make a good point there, Kim, actually, because she's pulled out of something else, hasn't she? She went to the thing with Philip, and then, you know, it's it's a very good point. Uh, I said it's not all it was made out to be. Maybe they have an ulterior. I didn't think for 1 second that, it could be anything to do with the Queen, health-wise, but you could well be right there. That's a very, very good point. I mean, let's face it, was she nearly 96, lost her husband, got COVID? It can't be easier. And she certainly looks a lot frailer these days, doesn't she? Certainly a lot frailer. Though I'm more into San Pellegrino at the minute. Okay, I've never heard of that one. Sand answers off. See you later. Good to see you. Nat, thank you for the support as always. Lots of Buddhas. Watched off the cuff with a photojournalist. It's brilliant. Yeah, it was. It really was an eye-opener. Thanks, Andy, and everyone in chat tonight. It's Chrissy Williams. I see him so much now and pretty much walked back into my life, and it's though he never went off. Boris will get his ass kicked on May the 5th. We'll have to see about that. I mean, I have this same conversation with myself every time there's a general election or local council elections. It's more than obvious to me that the system doesn't work. The system is broken. The system hasn't worked for a long time. We're stuck with the same two cronies every time that have effectively melded into one big mess. We no longer see the dividing lines between one side and the other, apart from the odd thing, does a man have a vagina, for example, something the lefties take very seriously every day. And we don't seemingly have a choice as to replacing this broken system. And the problem is it won't fix anything. It will be either the blue or the red. That seems to be what's happening every time. We need a mass influx of new from somewhere. And I don't know when that will happen. I generally don't know when that will happen. If it will happen, it's mad. It's mad, but we'll see what happens on May the 5th. We might be surprised in some places, but I doubt it. I think more and more people have to wake up in this country before we can actually get somewhere like that. A friend of mine whose daughter lives and teaches in Rwanda says it's a really lovely place to visit. Does several trips a year. Yeah, I've taken some people to the airport that have gone there. Andy, yes, the photojournalist on Police Off the Cuff was brilliant. Police Off the Cuff put on a very good podcast. I certainly do. I've got a lot of time for those two. I think they're brilliant. Local elections are like midterms, I would presume, but not necessarily a worry for central government, as others seen what happens. It's pretty much a way of it, yes, Spiderlog. I mean, what happens as well with the local elections here, you get people from central government saying that if you vote for us on this day, then this policy change will happen. And it won't, because there's no authority at the local level to make that policy change happen. It's more crap, basically. Go for it. Andy the Gabby Cabby for PM. Love it. Join us for the next episode, Andy, with Pepsi Max and clean shaven. You noticed her. I might have to have a little change around, a different drink every time. I have never tasted cola, and I'm 61. Wow. Cella. That's quite a record, going all that time without having a cola. Unfortunately, I like cola and I like putting something else with it when I can get away with it. Anyway, folks, we're coming to the end now. We've been on here nearly an hour, and I kind of like doing this way, talking about something in particular for the first little bit of time, and then breaking into our, just chitter chatter, and I interact with you through the rest of it. If you haven't done so already, before you go, please hit the thumbs up button. Let's see if we can get out to 150 in the last few seconds. So, we need 3 more. Phil Grimaldi is a hoot and can cook. Yeah, what was that? Veal parmesan, they call it. They sounded really nice, actually. Uh, yeah, uh, yeah, as I said, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on the chat on your way out. We need a couple more for 150, which is wonderful. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel as well. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell by it, so you can keep up every time we do something. We get one of these live streams out every day, and we can all interact with each other. And we've just broken the 150 mark, so thank you very much. Couple of other things, if you want to support the channel, with a channel membership, you can. They're only £1 a month, and there's no commitment. You can cancel any time, and there's other links and things to everywhere where we are as well. So all good, and thank you very much for your support. So I will see you tomorrow, a bit later in the day. My wife is actually going out, but she's trying to talk herself out of going out. I need to talk her into going out, so she can go out, and we'll have to do the stream at some point tomorrow. So have a good one, folks. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Toodaloo.